Hi again, guys. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today is a letter that came through to my father. It's regarding his savings account, and as some of you might be aware, there's been some changes being made. Now, back in January this year, 2016, um, the bank started to change a lot of things. One of the main ones was the level of capital that was protected, and it used to be £85,000. They've now reduced it down to £75,000. But what's quite interesting in this letter is a few things. There's a few details I'm going to bring up, and obviously they're all highlighted in blue. So I'll go through what it is that I've found and what it is that I think is kind of going on here. Now, interesting enough, I've obviously blocked out the details. But the first thing up here, generally from you know sophisticated banking industries, things will actually be formally dated. Now, this is just roughly dated April, and normally there would be the 12th of April as the date of this was all being printed. So along the lines, this has been designed ahead of time and hasn't been updated to the exact release date. They've just issued it out as it is. So anyway, let's get ahead with that. We are making some changes to your account conditions. These will come into effect on 20th of June 2016. Now, there's a couple of lines which just gives it to you softly, doesn't affect you too much. Most people generally ignore a lot of stuff that comes through the post. They just skim read it. It doesn't affect me. And in the bin it goes. But this isn't really aimed at the average guy, because the average people don't have these sums of money in their banks. But there are quite a few people that do have these sums of money in their banks, and this is obviously quite a devastating letter to receive. So anyway, I'll continue. The Financial Services Compensation Scheme has recently changed. Your eligible deposits are now protected up to a total of £75,000. Now, when they say protected up to a total of £75,000, bear in mind it used to be £85,000. So it's immediately been reduced by 11.7% that they're willing to protect your funds. We have enclosed an information sheet to show you your protection it provides. That will come up shortly. We have amended the wording in the complaints process, explaining that if you make a complaint and disagree with the decision we make, you can refer the matter to the Financial Ombudsman Service. Now, what they're basically saying is, if you've got a problem with what we say, take it up with someone else. We don't care about your response. We don't care if you've got a problem. It's not our problem. Is that the sort of people you want to bank with? People that just say, look, tough shit, put up with it? I don't think so. So further on, a bit more stuff just to confuse you and bulk out the letter. If we do not hear back from you before the 20th of June 2016, we will take this to mean that you accept the changes. You are able to close your bank account and your savings account at any time without charge. That's very kind of them. On to the next section. So this is the basic information they give you the sheet. So what is the real issue with this letter is, yes, they will grant you the £75,000 protection per bank, but what they are doing now is they are actually linking together a group of banks all into one deposit. So if you have several £75,000 deposited through various different branches or banks, if they happen to fall under the same registered body, then you're only covered for one £75,000 cover, which should be very concerning for a lot of people with a lot of money, because it's self-explanatory that you could lose multiple £75,000 if you're thinking, oh, I'll be smart, I'll split up my money, I'll put it in several branches, different bank accounts, that sort of thing. It makes no odds. Now, this is obviously just with this branch, with this bank account, and this brand. So there might well be other banks like Barclays, Citigroup, that have other affiliated aliases in their names, and you might have several bank accounts dotted with different people, thinking, "Oh, you're getting around the system here." However, I would look into it and make sure you are generally covered. So, moving on. So that's just repeating what I've just said here. If you see that. Now, they talk about the reimbursement period for your bank being 20 days. That's all good and well, providing that they can actually cover that repayment. Let's go on to the final and last page, which is the small print. And generally, people don't even read the small print. Anyway, I decided to have a quick look and see what I find. So, additional information. Let's see. So, your eligible deposit is covered by a statutory deposit guarantee scheme. If insolvency of your bank should occur, your eligible deposits would be repaid up to £75,000 per the deposit guarantee scheme. Now, they just give you an example of, if you go over that limit, we will only pay you £75,000. Okay, so Bank of Scotland PLC also trades under these trading names detailed above on the other page. This means that all eligible deposits with one or more of these trading names are in total covered up to £75,000. Again, as I explained previously. Now, with joint accounts, you get the added benefit of each depositor in that joint account is covered to £75,000. So effectively, if there's two of you and you've got 150 grand in the bank, you're covered. Now, what starts to get a little bit more concerning is when you get down into the reimbursement process. Now, it's all good and well hypothetically saying that, well, I'm okay, I have only got £75,000 in the bank. If it all goes belly up, they promise to give me back. Oh, I'm covered by a government-backed insurance policy, which covers me up to my amount. So I don't really care if it all goes belly up, because I'm fine, I'm covered. Now let's get into the small print here, which is where the FSCS cannot make the repayment amount available within 7 working days. Well, hang on, why can't they make it within 7 working days? They're promising to pay you that money, so why would they physically not be able to pay it? So ensure that you have access to an appropriate amount of your recovered deposits to cover the cost of your living in the case of a depositor which is an individual. So if you're an individual depositor, you basically have to get in touch with these people and ask for your money back. So if you're getting in touch, think how many other people might be getting in touch. So you'll be put right to the back of the queue. It could take quite a long time before the issues are resolved. So moving on a little bit further down, there's a little bit about larger companies and things like that. Now, if you have not been repaid within these deadlines, you should contact the scheme, since the time to claim reimbursement may be barred after a certain time limit. So can you imagine that there's thousands of people sending emails, ringing the phones, jamming the lines, jamming the systems. Oh, by the way, if you don't resolve this issue with us within, say, 5 working days, 7 working days, then you've lost your reimbursement period. So tough luck. I could physically see that happening. Other important information. Your bank will also inform you of any exclusions from protection which may apply. If deposits are eligible, the bank shall also confirm this in a statement of account. So banks from time to time send you out updated leaflets and things like that. And you can guarantee every time that they're sending out information, you kind of glance at it and you just chuck it in a bin. You don't really know what's going on. It's worded so complicated that the average guy, it just blows your mind trying to understand what it is that they're saying to you. So you've got to kind of read a little bit between the lines, and if you're in a position where you have money or you know people that are, you need to try and update them to what's going on here and try and encourage them to withdraw it. So finally we get to the exclusions list. A deposit is excluded from protection if the holder of any beneficial owner of the deposit have never been identified in accordance with money laundering requirements. For further information, contact your bank. So if you haven't been verified and identified in accordance with money laundering requirements, I mean, how many of us have actually been asked about money laundering situations? How many of us have been vetted to pass such protocols? I mean, I've never been asked to identify myself for that. I don't know about you guys. It is a deposit made by a depositor which is one of the following: credit institution, financial institution, investment firm, insurance undertaking, reinsurance undertaking, collective investment undertaking, pension or retirement fund, public authority, or any other small local authority. So what I'm kind of gauging from that is, if they take your money, they will pay you back your money, but when they pay it back to you, it will be paid back to you via either an investment firm, by a public authority, which would be, the financial reimbursement system. So they could effectively double whammy you by taking your money in the first place, by doing a whole bail-in system, give you your money back to you, but because it's been given back to you by a public authority, they can take it again because it's in the exclusion. The money that they've given back to you isn't protected because it's on the list that it isn't covered by. So they take it twice from you. It's just like, what the hell? So just wanted to see what you guys make of all that. It's just ludicrous what's going on. And people are kind of oblivious to it. But luckily, I mean, this letter went to my father and he showed me it. And he was extremely worried. So there should be a lot of people out there extremely worried this weekend. But the really interesting point of this is the main part kicks off June the 20th. So this is all implemented on June the 20th, 2016. And funnily enough, the Brexit vote is on the 23rd. So this is sort of snuck in while all the news and everything will be covering the Brexit votes, and everyone will be, talking about that, and the media will be going crazy over that, and this will just be totally ignored. So they are seriously gearing up towards wiping out anyone that has reasonable amounts of money to serious amounts of money if you're keeping it locked into the system. So, advice, take it out. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe.